This is freedom.
Katsina police rescue kidnap victims. And on the foreign scene, Sierra Leone president laments over surprise protests.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today's the 19th of August 2022, which is equivalent to the 21st of Muharram 1444 after Hijri. And now the news in full. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has sealed 4 illegal fertilizer blending plants operating without registration in Kano State and confiscated a truckload of adulterated fertilizer. The sealed plants are Alberca Agro Allied and Chemical Fertilizer and Nagarta Agro Fertilizer, both in Zara community of Kumbo's local government area. Sama Al-Heri plant in Judo community of Dawakin Kudu local government area, and one other retail shop in Gitso market of Gwarzo local government area of the state. The ministry's task force during inspections discovered that the plants, aside from blending without due authorization, were also mixing substandard components to produce adulterated fertilizer and sell it to farmers in the state. According to the Director Fertilizer Control Officer of the Farm Input Support Department of the ministry, OK Sunday, the inspection is necessary to rid Nigerian markets of adulterated fertilizer and ensure that no firm produces fertilizer without government approval.
There are a lot of things specified by the law that for anyone to do business in the fertilizer sector, the individual must be registered with the Farm Input Support Services Department. The law has also specified other do's and don'ts if you must operate in the industry. It is in the light of that the department decided to constitute this joint task force team to go out and look at the various shops of these fertilizer dealers and find out what is actually happening. This is a market operation, and I always tell people that we are not interested in arresting people unnecessarily. Our interest is to try as much as possible to get the operators to comply with the provisions of this act so that they can go about doing their normal business in the fertilizer sector.
OK Sunday added that fertilizer is a very critical input in farm production and the federal government will not tolerate any acts sabotaging efforts to ensure food security in the country. Correspondent Umar Abdullahi Shika reports that the team went on a 2-day inspection in villages, markets and industries around Kano. The Director General of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON Malam Farouk Salim, has urged the general public to desist purchasing substandard products. Malam Farouk Salim made this call in a briefing to newsmen today, shortly after an inspection tour to 10 indigenous manufacturing industries in Kano. He said so far Kano has been blessed with many great industries that specialize in producing qualitative local products that can compete with the foreign ones.
In the whole country, there are only 2 rice mill factories. But now, rice milling, especially in Kano alone, is one of the biggest and fastest growing businesses, which is a good sign that the government policy is working and the results are clear, that the farming industry is growing and is recovering.
He also applauded the indigenous industries for providing job opportunities to thousands of people, which will reduce some major unemployment.
In spite of the difficult situation, the industry is exposed. I'm very happy to see a lot of the industries employing up to thousands of people and surviving independently, because I haven't been here for a long time, that most of the industries are gone. But it's a very pleasant surprise to see a lot of the industries. Some of them, like Royal Firm, have been here since 1979.
On their part, some of the manufacturers visited by the Standard Organization of Nigeria applauded the efforts of the agency for its support to indigenous industries.
As a matter of practice, we have been doing training and orientation for entire staff since years and going to other cities to bring in the consultant. Now it's a good opportunity for us to utilize the local services which are on such a standard by SON.
Well, actually, it's a very important visit. We're very appreciative. We feel that the government is making very big strides to help industries and revamp the economy. We're very appreciative.
The Director General of the Standard Organization of Nigeria visited rice milling industries, lubricants factories, and agro-allied, among others. Correspondent Awal Hassan Fagir reports that the agency also organized a stakeholders forum last night, which was attended by the state stakeholders, where the Emir of Kano Al-Haji Amina Ado Bayero was represented by the Malik in Kano Ambassador Ahmed Umar. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has revoked the licenses of the AIT Ray Power FM Direct Communications Limited, Silverbird TV Network, and 50 other stations over the 2.6 billion naira debt. The Director General of the NBC, Malam Balarabe Ilila, who made the disclosure at a news conference today in Abuja, ordered the affected stations to shut down in the next 24 hours. Ilila directed NBC offices nationwide to collaborate with the security agencies to ensure immediate compliance. He explained that in May 2022, the Commission published in the national dailies the list of licensees that are indebted to NBC, granted them 2 weeks to renew their licenses and pay their debts, or consider their licenses revoked and frequencies withdrawn. He urged all broadcast stations who have not renewed their licenses for the current duration to do so within the next 30 days to avoid sanctions. He also called on all Internet Protocol television and all other broadcast stations that are streaming online to register with the Commission to avoid disconnection. And on the sporting arena, the Nigerian Football Federation has fixed September 30th as the date for the 2022 NFF Elective Congress. Mamasan Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
The Nigeria Football Federation approved the date at the NFF Executive Committee meeting in Lagos State on Thursday, which was contained in a communique made available to newsmen today by NFF spokesman Ademola Olajiri. The body also approved the suspension of the provision of the NFF Statute 2010 and the NFL Electoral Code 2009. The Congress also approved that the present NFF Executive Committee remain in office to conduct the 30th September 2022 elections. Meanwhile, former Nigerian goalkeeper Peter Rufai has advised the Super Falcons to be clinical in front of goal when the team meet Netherlands in the quarterfinals of the 2022 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. It could be recalled that Nigeria maintained a 100% winning record in the group stages after the team defeated France 1-0, South Korea 1-0, and Canada 3-1 to top the group. With the team set to face Netherlands in the knockout stages, Rufai, who was a member of the Super Eagles that won the 1994 Africa Cup of Nations, said the Super Falcons will overcome their Dutch opponent. In another update, Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti says midfielder Casemiro wants a new challenge and to leave the club as Manchester United close in on a deal worth up to 70 million euros. Discussions have progressed quickly and United are optimistic the deal for the Brazilian international will be completed in the next few days. And on tennis, Emma Raducanu's dominant form at the Cincinnati Open ended as Jessica Pegula proved a sharp step up in class for the British number one. Raducanu had trounced veteran Serena Williams and Victoria Azarenka but lost 7-5, 6-0 to Pegula in the last 16. Now the 19-year-old switches her focus to defending her crown at the US Open, which start in New York on 29 August. Similarly, Cameron Norrie continued the British interest by beating St. Shelton to reach the men's quarterfinals. British men's number one Norrie won 6-1, 6-2 against the teenage American wildcard as the gap between the pair showed. Muhammad Sanuba, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com.
Mata, yaya dai?
Sabuwar wayar Samsung Galaxy A73 nake son saya.
Samsung sun shirya garabasar musamman ga kowa da kowa a wannan watar. Za a samu raguwar naira 25,000 a farashin wayar Galaxy A73 da kike matukar so. Kuma za a iya samun ragin a farashin wayoyin A53, A33, A23, A13, A03 da A03 Core. Me kike nema ne?
Takalmi na mana na nufi shagon Samsung mafi kusa. Kar a banni a baya.
A hanzarta maza a je a samu wayar a amintattun shagunan Samsung mafi kusa. Ku ci muryar garabasar Samsung Promo. Gasar na gudana ne daga 4 zuwa 31 na watan Yuli na 2022. A hanzarta kan hajojin su kare.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. Officers of the Katsina State Police Command in the early hours of today rescued 2 men from terrorists at Wapa village in the Kurfi local government area of the state after a fierce gun duel. The names of the men were given as Alhaji Amin Wapa and Wada Saleh. The police said the terrorists, numbering up to 24, invaded the village a few minutes after midnight and abducted the men. The command spokesman, SP Gambo Isa, who confirmed the development, revealed that the police officers received a distress call on the invasion and following which they mobilized to the village to engage the terrorists. And on business, we have Abdurrahman Hamison and Medina with updates.
The Federal Competition and Consumer Agency has ordered Google Play Store to pull down 4 money lending companies for escalating unethical, obnoxious and unscrupulously exploitative practices in the industry. In a statement signed by Babatunde Erukera, the Commission's Chief Executive Officer said the affections companies are Maxi Credit, Chacha Here For You and SoftPay. According to the statement, Erukera gave the order during an exposement operation on Thursday in Ikeja area of Lagos. He had in March led a similar operation to tackle possible violation of consumer rights where at least 7 loan companies including Sokolan were raided. The Commission's boss said that some lending companies, including Sokolon, who have been subject for investigation, have devised methods to leverage on technology and other financial services alternatives to circumvent account freezing and of suspension orders. He noted that with the operations today, the Commissions expect appreciable additional reduction in these unacceptable practices. Meanwhile, state governors on Thursday raised concern regarding the ownership of the new Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, its assets and liabilities. Consequently, the chairman of the council, Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, directed that a subcommittee be set up to liaise with the federal government on all the issues raised. According to a statement by the Senior Special Assistant of the Vice President on Media and Publicity, Lola Kande, the concerns followed a presentation by the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kari, in which he shared updates on crude oil production, petrol supply situation, and security intervention against oil theft. Abdurrahman Hamisana Medina, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio says the nature of last week's protest against his government caught the police force by surprise. Zarazanna reports.
The protest resulted in 25 deaths, including 5 police officers. President Bayo again blamed the opposition for trying to topple his government, an accusation the opposition All People's Congress Party has denied. He said a forensic and independent investigation was being conducted to unravel the truth. President Bayo also defended a reshuffle in the military leadership following the protest and denied threats of a military takeover. Meanwhile, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says dialogue and diplomacy with the Syrian government cannot be ruled out, the latest sign that Ankara may be willing to mend ties with its southern neighbor. Erdogan told reporters that there is a need to take further steps with Syria, adding diplomacy between states could never be fully severed. The tone of Erdogan's comments appears to be softer than his previous position on Syria, where his government backed the opposition and intervened militarily. Turkey currently occupies territory across vast swaths of northern Syria. Earlier this year, Erdogan promised to conduct a cross-border military operation. Zarazanna, Freedom Radio.
And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the rest of your day.